Hey, what's up? Improvement Warrior, Jason Yun, back with you again. Hope you're having a fabulous day. Wanted to make this video via Facebook Live or YouTube Live, but I couldn't figure out how to do the screen share. So if somebody has that knowledge, let me know. But otherwise, I want to go over an article here that was written on Shapefit. So let me share my screen here. Shapefit, I used to be a writer for them. Where is the share screen? Huh? Chat, participants, security. We're going to do this again. Enter full screen. Start share. Okay. So I used to be a writer for Shapefit, and this was before I even went to Paleo. So you can see all my old articles and how just absolutely wrong they are in terms of nutrition information, fitness information. Not so much bad on the fitness information, but most of the nutrition. I tried to reach out to them, I think 3 or 4 years ago, so I can change the articles and update them. I never heard back from them. So, but otherwise, we've got this article here: Childhood Obesity: Why So Many Kids Are Fat and How to Fix It, by Timothy Roach. Okay, so over the last 30 years, childhood obesity has more than tripled. 12.7 million children are obese, and that doesn't include overweight children. So there's a hierarchy. So it's overweight. First you become overweight, then it's obese, then it's extreme obesity, then it's morbid obesity. Obviously, you don't want to be in any of those categories. So we want to be healthy, and there's many ways to do it, but a lot of sites like Shapefit are just telling you it's just fitness and nutrition. All right. So that if you're overweight, children can expect to live 14 years less. And you can read, I'll hook up the article. But obviously you get type 2 diabetes. Anytime anybody's overweight, you're pre-diabetic automatically because insulin's not working, leptin, you're leptin resistant, you're insulin resistant, all that bad stuff. And obviously he's just listing a couple of the problems with obesity, not to mention mindset and self-esteem, confidence, everything. So, and then, so it's about 1 in every 3 children ages 5 to 17 is either obese or overweight. And obviously that is a big problem because overweight and obese children become overweight and obese adults. And it needs to be taken care of now, okay? Not later. If you have an overweight or obese child or morbidly obese child, you need to do something now, okay? Parents are the #1 most influential person in these children's lives who can do something about it. Okay, so he lists the main reasons that children are obese or overweight. He lists poor diet as #1, kids eating high-calorie, low-nutrient-dense foods, processed sugars, cereals, sugars, fast foods, juices, snacks loaded with sugars, cookies, candies. Okay, and this is true. It is very true. So when I had my studio in Hilliard Athletic Revolution, which is now Improvement Warrior Athlete in New Albany, I would always ask the kids, what you have today? What you eat today? Okay, and it was same thing. Even before their workout, Taco Bell, McDonald's, pizza, donuts, candy, chicken nuggets, crap, okay? Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Okay, so that is a big problem, is poor diet, but is not the #1 reason kids are overweight. And then lack of physical activity and lifestyle changes. So 77% of children do not get enough physical activities, and kids rarely go outside and play. So that's one of the big things, is going outside and playing. Usually they're playing inside, they're watching TV, they're playing video games, or they're watching other kids play video games. That to me is just, it's like, what the hell? Okay. It's ridiculous. And then he lists number 3 as genetics. So genetics can come into play in some instances. Many parents like to blame genetics for their child's weight issues. Now, most people don't know there are 2 genomes inside our body. So we have the DNA, their nuclear genome, which most people refer to as our genetics. But there is also the mitochondrial genome. The mitochondria is only inherited through the mother. So the father has no input as into the mitochondria that you're going to get. So if your mother was a train wreck, if your grandmother was a train wreck, they're passing that mitochondrial genome down into you. And Doug Wallace, who is the leading researcher on mitochondrial research, he states that anywhere between 80 to 95% of all diseases today are of mitochondrial genome, or are damage to the mitochondrial genome. So if you have messed up mitochondria, that needs to be fixed first. That's why I'm a proud mitochondriac. So you can search that on Instagram, search that on Facebook. You'll see how we live and what we do to keep ourselves healthy, because it's a lot more than fitness and nutrition. Okay. So usually it is not genetic. So if there's like genetic diseases like cystic fibrosis and that kind of stuff, okay, obviously if you get that, then that's a major problem. But most diseases, obesity, overweightness, is not a genetic disease. Okay, you do not inherit, oh, I'm fat, and I'm going to be fat the rest of my life because my dad or my mom was fat. Okay, it's a mitochondrial issue, and if the mitochondria is broken, that's basically your engine. It doesn't matter the fuel you put in, it doesn't matter the type of other things that you do to make yourself have fuel. Okay, if the engine's broken, you're not going to go very far. Okay, then he goes on here. Parenting role model, he lists as another issue, and that is a big thing because kids learn through modeling. Okay? They learn through seeing you do it or seeing other people do it, and then they do that themselves. Okay, so we have to be that role model because we are making the future with our kids. And I always say, you're not raising your kids, you're raising your grandkids. Okay? Because the kids are going to pass what they learn down to the next generation. So we need to make sure they're learning something good. Okay, supervision of children, he mentions that as well. So a lot of parents they'll just give them the iPad, give them the cell phone. Okay, if that's not on airplane mode, I consider that child abuse. If they don't have blue blockers on and your screen doesn't have a filter on the phone or iPad, I consider that child abuse. Okay, then he talks about the nutrition of parents and why they need to be, because 71% of adults in the United States is overweight or obese. And let's go back up here. So the 10 most obese countries on earth, and then USA is number 1, 33.8. This is obesity. This doesn't include overweightness, because 71% is overweight or obese in the United States. Then you got New Zealand and Australia. Australia, I know they might be governed by the same rules and stuff, but Australia, I know they now mandate that their children wear sunglasses, sunscreen, anytime they're outside on the beach or anything like that. And I think they do hats as well. Okay. Australia has worse autoimmunity, and per capita, I believe their obesity rate is even more, especially in children. Okay. So autoimmunity skin cancer is worse in Australia as well because of the mandates for sunglasses and sunscreen. Okay, so here's what he says in terms of nutrition. Start your day off with a healthy breakfast like oatmeal. Okay, healthy breakfast is not oatmeal. Okay, now I can lose weight eating oatmeal. Maybe I can lose some fat eating oatmeal, but oatmeal is basically, it's junk. I put it in the same category as grain. Obviously, it's not as bad as a grain or as wheat or as gluten, but it will mess you up. It is a high carbohydrate. It is a sugar dominant thing. He talks about sugar-free cereals. There's no such thing as a sugar-free cereal. A lot of people eat their oatmeal with breakfast. It's not sugar-free. How you tell how much sugar is in a product? Because carbohydrates are converted into sugar. So for every 4 carbohydrates listed on the label, that's 1 teaspoon of sugar. So if it has 40 grams of carbohydrates, that means there's 10 teaspoons of sugar in that product. Okay? Doesn't matter what it is. Broccoli, there's sugar. Okay? Granted, broccoli has like 4 grams of carbohydrates, 3 of them are fiber. Okay? So it's got 1 net carb. So it's basically 0.25 teaspoons of sugar. Okay? But it is still sugar. And that's why we have to, I always say, eat seasonally, eat locally when possible. And when I'm talking about eating seasonally, I'm talking about the fruits and the vegetables. I'm not talking about the oatmeals and the whole wheat bread and other crap like that. Okay, Snickers bars. Okay, oatmeal. Eat seasonally, eat locally. So stuff that you would find on a tree or growing out of the ground. Okay, winter, where I live, 40th latitude, Columbus, Ohio, nothing grows out of the ground. Nothing grows on a tree, maybe except a mushroom. Okay? The only vegetables I eat in the winter are seaweed, mushrooms, which is not a mushroom, which is not a vegetable, it's actually a fungus. Okay? But everybody should be eating mushrooms, everybody should be eating seaweed, and also an occasional avocado. Okay? Where was I? Okay, so he says start the day off healthy breakfast. Cut out all sugary juices, cereals, and snacks. So we just went over how to tell how much carbohydrate or sugar is in each product there. But the one thing that all food turns into, even sugary drinks and carbohydrates, and if you're eating it out of season, is they all turn into electrons to go through electron chain transport to basically reduce into oxygen. Okay, but the problem is if you're eating something out of season, okay, that can actually steal electrons from you. Okay, and whenever we lose electrons, we lose energy, basically, and then we're searching for ways to get it back. So whenever you lose electrons, you're usually gaining more protons. Protons has a positive charge, electrons have a negative charge. Okay, anytime our positive charge goes up, that decreases our redox potential, and it causes more inflammation in the body. A lot of people know that every single disease starts with inflammation. Okay, limit fast food intake. Okay, that was one of the big problems I had with my kids. They would always come in and say they were eating this, that, McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, all kinds of crap. Okay, and the lunch program at school, right? I remember my lunch program at school, it was complete crap. Peanut butter sandwiches, chicken sandwiches, breaded chicken, just complete crap. Pack your kids' lunch. Okay, ensure you get plenty of exercise, participate in your child's activities by attending games and stuff. Okay, he says here, limit high carbohydrate foods like white bread and pasta. Replace these foods with lots of fruits and vegetables. Okay, in season, of course, but the one thing that he is obviously missing here is the blue light and is the non-native EMF. Okay, these are the #1 things that are causing your child's obesity. It's not the food, okay? It's not the lack of exercise. Doing that under these types of things just perpetuates the issue and basically makes them want to crave those foods, because Blue light by itself will raise your glucose levels without, or will raise your insulin levels without raising your blood sugar, okay? Which will cause you to want to eat more food or more sugary foods, okay? And the non-native EMF, it's the number one thing with non-native EMF. So non-native EMF, you've got Wi-Fi, you've got smart meters, you've got anything that plugs in has non-native EMF. It's got an electromagnetic field coming out of it, okay? And the number one effect of that, Bluetooth, your cell phone, cellular signals, 5G, 4G, 3G, all that. Number one effect of that is dehydration, okay? Dehydration of the cells, dehydration of the mitochondria. Whenever that happens, boom, you can't, the cell doesn't work, okay? That's when mitochondrial disease starts to happen, okay? And then if you are doing these bad things that he talks about in these, eating bad foods, not going outside, or he didn't talk, yes, he did. Not going outside, getting sunshine, okay? All spectrums of the sun, okay? Sunrise is the most important, and morning sun, I would say next most important. Sunset, third most important, okay? Getting those spectrums of light throughout the day will help you. However, if your mitochondria is completely dehydrated because you're always on your phone, you've got the Wi-Fi on, you sleep with the Wi-Fi on, you sleep with your phone next to you, and some kids are getting phones as early as 4, 5, 6 years old. It's like, come on. That is child abuse to the max, okay? 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds should not have phones, all right? Okay, so dehydration. And you can't drink enough water if you're sitting under blue lights and you're sitting under Wi-Fi all day long. You cannot drink enough water to hydrate the cells and make them work again. Eventually, things are going to start to slow down. You're going to notice disease and all this bad stuff. Okay, but if you need help, you know where to reach me. Leave a comment down below. I can reach out to you, or check me out on Patreon, Improvement Warrior over there. So meal plans, workouts, and individual health coaching over there as well. Okay. Otherwise, don't forget to follow me on social media. Instagram, Facebook is sun.yun.jason. Everywhere else is YunTraining. Trying to leave bombs, trying to leave the information, trying to educate you as much as possible. But otherwise, whoops, how do I get out of here? Okay, otherwise, have a great day. Get outside. Stay strong. Stay positive. Be the improvement warrior.